My child, you are in need of a reminder, and I am here to speak it clearly. I am proud of you. Not because you always get it right, not because you've never stumbled. I am proud because you keep going, even when it felt like you would fall apart. I see it all. Every quiet effort, every time you chose love over anger, forgiveness over bitterness, hope over despair. Those things are not small. Those things shake heaven. You think I don't know? You believe the tears you cry in the night are invisible to me? No. I count every single one. I hear every sigh. And I want you to know, every time you choose to believe in me when you feel absolutely nothing, that is when your faith shines the brightest. You don't need a blinding light to prove my presence. It's in the darkness that you discover just how precious light really is. And in the darkness, I am there, with you. You may not see results right away. You might be doubting whether what you're doing is making any difference at all. But I tell you, no act done in love is ever wasted. No step taken in faith is ever forgotten. No prayer, not even a groaning whisper, goes unheard. I am near. I see it all, and I call you faithful one. Don't believe the voices in your mind that say you're not good enough, that you're letting God down. That's not my voice. I do not condemn. I heal. I do not push you away. I always draw you closer. I know you better than anyone, even the things you haven't dared to say, the thoughts that bring you shame. And I still love you. I love you so much that I chose death, so that you could live. So my child, lift your head, keep walking forward. Don't let the past stop you midway through the journey. You are no longer who others have labeled you to be. You are who I have chosen you to be. And today I say it clearly to you. I am proud of you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are still going. My beloved child, I know your heart is carrying many burdens. There are days when you feel like you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. You look back at the mistakes you've made and wonder how I could ever love someone like you. But I want you to hear this clearly. I don't love you because you are perfect. I love you because you are mine. My love for you does not change, no matter how many times you fall. I see you in the moments no one else sees. When you quietly shed tears in the middle of the night. When you choose to forgive even while your heart is bleeding. When you walk in faith across a wilderness that feels barren and dry. Those are the moments that make me proud. I don't wait for you to become a hero to pour out my love. Even in your weakness, I have called you my beloved. Even when you label yourself a failure, I still see you as a warrior in my kingdom. Don't let the voices of this world drown out the voice of truth. I know this world demands a lot. It pressures you to prove yourself, to be perfect, to achieve success, to be accepted. But in my kingdom, your worth is not measured by what you do, but by who you are in my eyes. You are my masterpiece, handcrafted by the Creator, designed with purpose and a mission that is uniquely yours. No one else can take your place in the story I'm writing. There are things you've been through that have made you question your value, rejection, being overlooked, misjudged. I know what that feels like. I too was despised, rejected, nailed to a cross by the very ones I loved. But even in the midst of that pain, I remained steadfast, because I knew my love would not fail, and neither will yours. The things you are doing now, no matter how small they seem, have great meaning to me. When you offer a word of encouragement, when you help someone in secret, when you pray for others in silence, those are reflections of my love shining through you. None of it is forgotten. Have you ever noticed how a small candle can chase away the darkness in an entire room? That is you. Even when you feel weak, you are still a light in this world. And I place that light in you not to be hidden, but to shine, not by your strength, but by mine. You don't need to burn yourself out to please others. Let me be the fire in your soul that never goes out. There are days you wake up exhausted, your mind weary, your heart heavy, everything around you seeming to fall apart. But I want you to know this. I am there, right beside your bed, in your very first breath of the morning. When you no longer have the strength to pray, I am praying for you. When you feel like your faith is gone, I am still faithful. Never think you have to carry this alone. I am your shelter, your safe place, where you can lay everything down and breathe again. In a world full of noise, I am the gentle whisper reminding you that you are not abandoned, not forgotten. I know you are still fighting many battles, feelings of inadequacy, memories of guilt, broken relationships, voices of condemnation repeating in your mind. But I have come to break those chains. I did not come to condemn you. I came to save. Not to spotlight your failures, but to wipe away your tears and call you to rise. Remember what I said. If anyone is in me, they are a new creation. No past can prevent the future I have for you. No darkness is greater than the light I have placed inside you. There will be times when you feel lost, times when you look around and see no way forward. But trust me, I am not just your companion on this journey. I am the way. When you take even the smallest step of faith, I am already ahead of you, clearing the path, opening doors, removing the obstacles trying to stop you. I never promised you a life without trials, but I did promise you would never face them alone. You will not be overcome, for my strength is made perfect in your weakness. And when you are tired, come to me. Don't run from me. Don't try to fix yourself before you show up. Come with all the mess, all the pain, all the wounds still bleeding, and let me heal you. I don't need you to have all the answers. I don't need you to be holy before entering my presence. I need you to come, honest, open, and willing. I will be the rest your soul longs for. I will be the place where you are made new again. What you're living through right now, whether victory or defeat, is not the end of your story. I am still writing your life, and the best chapters are yet to come. Don't close the book just because the current chapter feels quiet. Every part of your story matters, even the ones you don't yet understand. My beloved child, I am proud of you. Not because of what you've achieved, but because you're still here. Still choosing love, still choosing faith, still choosing hope. That is victory in my eyes. Every time you forgive when you're hurting, every time you stand when your knees are shaking, that is when heaven rejoices. I see you, I know you, and I have chosen you. Not because you are perfect, but because I love you with a love that never changes. My beloved child, now that your heart is beginning to open, let me lead you deeper into a truth. One that has the power to change how you see yourself forever. I want you to know this. Your weakness is not something I despise. On the contrary, it is in the very places where you feel the smallest and most powerless that I place my greatest strength. Remember those moments when you felt like a failure, when you said things you shouldn't have, when you backed away out of fear, or when you couldn't forgive yourself. In those moments, I didn't turn away. I came closer. I didn't withdraw my love. I didn't add distance. I stepped in to lift you, not with judgment, but with mercy. Do you remember Paul in the scriptures? He once persecuted the church, took lives, burned with pride and anger. But then I reached him, not because he was good enough, but because he surrendered. Paul wrote, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And today, I say the very same to you. Don't hide your cracks from me. Don't think I only want the shiny parts of your life. I want all of you, even the parts you feel ashamed of. You think I don't know? You think I only love you when you're victorious, when you're praying passionately, when you're preaching boldly? No. I love you even in the times when you're drained, when you cry and can't find words to pray, when all you can do is sigh and sit in silence. In that silence, I still hear you. My dear child, I know the dreams you've let go of, the ones you clutched as a child, but life, pain, or people made you believe they were no longer possible. But what you need to know is this. What I planted in you was never meant to die. They are only sleeping. And when the time comes, I will call them forth again, just as I called Lazarus from the grave. There are promises you once believed in, but time and disappointment have made you question. You think, maybe God forgot about me. Maybe I'm not worthy. But child, I have not forgotten. What I promised, I will fulfill. Not a single word I have spoken will return void. My timing is not your timing, but I am never late, never early, always on time. When you are ready, and when what I have prepared will serve your eternal good. And in the waiting, I have not abandoned you. Just because you don't see change doesn't mean I'm not working. Even in drought, roots grow deeper. Even in silence, growth is still happening. You may not realize it, but every time you choose to believe in the midst of doubt, you're planting seeds. And those seeds will sprout in due time. Let me tell you about a single mother. She once knelt on the floor of her small room at night, trembling because she didn't know how she would feed her child the next day. She had nothing left but her hands and a sliver of faith. But instead of giving up, she whispered, "Lord, if you see me, please help me." And I saw her. I sent someone to knock at her door with a job she never expected. It wasn't a dramatic miracle, but it was provision, right on time, enough for her to know, I never abandon those who trust in me. And then there was a man who lost everything to bankruptcy. He used to be successful, but suddenly he had nothing. In his shame, he avoided even speaking to me, believing he was no longer worthy to pray. But finally, in the depths of his pain, he collapsed and whispered, "God, do you still love me?" I embraced him with a presence no words could express. And from the ashes, I rebuilt his life, not just financially, but with new meaning. These stories are not the exception. They are proof of what I do every single day, in the hearts of those who trust me. And now, you are living your own story. I do not end the book at the chapter of failure. I keep writing, with faith, with hope, with redemption, with new life. Sometimes you think you're just ordinary, nothing special, but you don't realize that you are a light in my house, a bearer of hope, sent to places I've chosen. I have placed gifts inside you, talents, compassion, wisdom, not to be hidden, but to be given away. You don't need to be a pastor, a preacher, or a theologian to make a difference. If you live with true love, you are already a living testimony of me. Never underestimate the power of a kind word, a sacrificial act, a silent forgiveness. These things move heaven. Every time you choose love over hate, you are breaking chains of darkness no one else can see. You are doing kingdom work, not from a stage, but in your kitchen, your classroom, your office, your neighborhood. Have you ever wondered, why did I place you in that family, that city, that situation? Because I knew where your light was needed. I calculated every detail. Nothing is random, not even your voice, your smile, that's your scars. Everything in your life can be used by me. When you think it's too late, remember that Moses began his calling at 80. When you think you're too young, remember I chose a teenage girl to bear the Savior. When you feel weak, remember I choose the weak to shame the strong. You are not forgotten, you are being prepared. Child, I know you're tired, I see your weary legs, your worn-out spirit, but I beg you, don't give up, don't let go. I carried the cross not so you would live exhausted, but so you could live free. Come to me, really come, not with religion or rituals or appearances, but with a heart that's honest, even if it's broken. I will not turn you away. And when you are weak, when you fall, that is not the end, that is an invitation to come home. Look to me and you will see forgiveness. Look to these pierced hands and you will know, there is no sin outside the reach of my grace. When you return, I do not just forgive, I restore. I keep no record of wrongs. I rewrite your identity with the ink of my love. So today, my beloved, breathe deep. Lay down every burden. Let me say it one more time, I am proud of you. Not because you are perfect, but because you're still going, you're still standing, you're still choosing to believe in me. And that makes heaven rejoice. My beloved child, now that you've made it this far, now that your heart has begun to soften, now that the hardened layers are being peeled away by love, there's something I need you to understand. This is not just a message of encouragement, it is a divine encounter. Not between you and religion, but between you and me. The one who sat with tax collectors, embraced the leper, wept with the grieving, and stretched out his arms on the cross for the sake of people just like you. You may have heard thousands of sermons. You may have read the Bible since you were a child. You may have gone to church your whole life. But today, I want something deeper. I don't just want your mind to believe in me. I want your heart. Not because I need one more follower, but because I want you, fully, honestly, and without fear. I am not looking for obedience born of fear. I long for a relationship rooted in trust. Have you ever imagined that I enjoy being near you? That I wait for those quiet moments when you pause just to listen to me. I know you're busy, work, family, responsibilities, worries, but if you'd stop just for a few minutes each day, lift your eyes and whisper, Lord, here I am. My heart lights up. You don't need long, eloquent prayers. One honest word from you is enough to move heaven. Many people ask me, Lord, how can I hear your voice? And the answer is always simple. In silence, in my word, in listening more than speaking. When you open your Bible, you don't need to rush through chapter after chapter. Sometimes just one verse, if you pause with it, think deeply, and let me speak through it, that's when life begins to flow. My words are not ink on paper. My words are life. They are bread for your soul. Living water in the desert, a lamp for each weary step. My dear one, you don't need to be strong to come to me. In fact, I invite you to come when you're weak, when you're disappointed, when you're angry, when you can hardly believe. I am not afraid of your truth. I am the truth. I don't love the version of you that pretends to be unshaken. I love the real you, the one learning to be honest with me. I know there are days when you feel worthless, days you lie in bed with no motivation to move, mornings when you ask, does anyone even need me? But what you don't realize is that even when you feel you have nothing to offer, you still hold a place in my heart no one else can fill. As long as you're breathing, being, existing, you're part of my hope for the world. Not the hope that you'll become a superhero, but that you'll become the child I created you to be. One who loves, who forgives, and who sees their worth through my eyes. When you sit beside your sleeping child, your hands trembling because you don't know how you'll feed them tomorrow, I am there. When you stand in a meeting, trying to hold yourself together while your heart is breaking from bad news, I am there. When you smile at others while your soul is silently screaming, God, I can't take this anymore, I am holding your soul. I do not abandon. I do not walk away. And I never promised an easy life, but I did promise a meaningful one. A life that, even in pain, is full of purpose. A life that when you look back, you'll be able to say, Lord, you walked with me every step. Maybe you're living in a dark valley right now, through illness, loss, heartbreak, but that is not the end of your story. That is where I refine you, not to punish, but to prepare. Like fire purifies gold, like soil must soften before seeds can grow, like storms steer the ship back to shore. When you don't understand why something is happening, you don't need immediate answers. You need presence. And I am that presence. I am not only the God of eternity, I am the God of this morning's breath, this afternoon's heat, tonight's quiet sigh. I don't only work in thunderclouds and miracles. I dwell in a loaf of bread, in a hand held tight, in a laugh shared through tears. Learn to see me in the ordinary, because it is there that I reveal the extraordinary. My precious one, you've come so far. Maybe no one applauds you, maybe no one sees. But I see. I take note. I collect every tear, every hidden effort, every time you forgave without recognition. These are your crown. I am weaving for you a wreath that never withers, not for the performers on stage, but for the faithful in the shadows. So I ask you, don't let go of your light. Don't believe that you have no impact. A single act of forgiveness can spark life for a whole generation. A life of honesty can soften the hardest hearts. One word of encouragement at the right time can pull a soul back from despair. I have called you the light of the world. And that light doesn't come from you, it comes from me. You simply need to keep your heart clear so I can shine through like sunlight through a window. When others look at you, they'll see me. When they feel your kindness, they'll feel my mercy. And finally, my beloved, if there's one thing I long for most, it's relationship. Not because I need you to do something for me, but because I want to live with you. Every day, every hour, every moment. I don't want to be someone you visit once a week. I want to be the first one you turn to. Not after you've tried everything else, but from the beginning. I want you to dare to live as someone who is loved, without fear, without shrinking back, without exhausting yourself trying to please everyone, but boldly, freely, fully alive, because you know you're a child of the Creator. You don't have to wait until life is perfect to live fully. You can begin today, knowing I am proud of you. I go before you, I live in you, and I will never let go of you. My dear child, if you are still here, that is no accident. I am calling you to live differently, not to prove yourself, but to receive, not to run in fear, but to walk in faith, not to strive to be loved, but to live like someone who has always been loved. And this is the final truth I want to carve into your soul. You are not your past. You are not your fear. You are the one I have chosen, the one I have loved, the one I have called, and I, the Eternal One, am so very proud of you. Now that you've heard all my words, don't let this be just an emotional moment that fades away. Let this truth sink deeply into your soul. I see you. I know you. And I choose you every single day. Not just when you succeed, but also when you fall. Not just when you sing in worship, but also when you sit in silence, worn out and weary. You are mine, and my love for you isn't swayed by your performance or your circumstances. It is steady as stone, deeper than the ocean, more enduring than time itself. When you are weak, I don't turn away. When you are overwhelmed, I don't scold. When you doubt, I don't grow angry. On the contrary, I draw near. I embrace your bleeding soul. I wipe away your tears. I sit beside you and whisper, "Rest a while. I'm here." You don't have to do more to be loved more, and there's nothing you could ever do to be loved less. My acceptance of you has never been based on perfection. It's rooted in grace, and that grace is still flowing, fresh every day, enough for every wound, every moment of weakness, every detour. Come, don't hesitate, don't delay. I'm waiting, not to condemn, but to heal. And child, don't forget, you are not just loved, you are sent. You are light in this world. You are my hands and feet on this earth. And I will use you, yes you, to touch this world. Not through grand displays of greatness, but through true love poured out from within. Live like someone who is loved. Walk like someone who has been redeemed. Speak like someone who carries hope. And with every step I will walk with you. You may doubt many things, but never doubt this. I am always with you. Every day, every hour, every breath. And above all else, I, your Lord, am so proud of you.